What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Broke Creatives podcast. And Jarrett,
Episode 11.
episode 11.
I honestly was like not even thinking. I think that's all. Whenever I made this initially, that's how many I planned was like 10 or 11.
I mean, we made it past the first one, which is, we made it.
Yeah.
We made it. But today we're going to go a little bit deeper in the 5 levels
Of being a creative.
a creative. I know we covered a little bit last episode.
Yeah.
We got really good feedback from last episode.
Yeah, we did.
And so I think this episode, let's go ahead and just take it up a notch.
Yeah.
Go a little bit deeper in what we're going to be talking about. And so, Jarrett. So let's go ahead. Let's go into
The unpopular
opinion,
which you don't really like.
We'll go deeper on it.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. 3, 2, and 1.
Why did you count?
Go.
It doesn't even make sense.
Go. Just go.
The unpopular opinion is you don't have to have money to make money. What do you think?
I mean, there's both sides to it.
I mean,
there's those that see themselves as right now, and then there's those people.
What do you mean by that?
So, okay, what I mean by that is there's situations where you see yourself now as being successful.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you giving me that look? Give me a positive look.
Because I don't get what you're saying.
Okay, there's people that see themselves as now. So before we started this podcast today, I told you we wouldn't be where we are without money. That person.
But at
the second person looks at it from the perspective of where they started.
Yeah. But I mean,
and you have to choose which one you want to be in this season or how you want to view this unpopular opinion.
Well, right. But where were you when you first started?
I was just starting school.
Right. Okay. So you were doing production. You didn't have money, but somehow you got into it by hard work, doing hard things.
Right.
Doing things that nobody else wanted to do.
Right.
Being whatever you need person, which got you into positions and roles, even though you didn't have equipment, even though you didn't have your own camera, even though you didn't have your own computer, all the things. But
I got my first camera.
Right. Because you were
doing your first lighting console.
Right.
Because when you started, you were doing stage decks.
Yeah. I was literally I was a crew team person and I was doing that. Yeah. I was doing cameras. Whatever. I was serving, but I didn't have any of my own things. I didn't have the network, the skill set really yet, the mindset even.
Right.
I didn't have any of that, but I started doing the hard things. And I think that's going to be what, at least that's my understanding from this unpopular opinion, is that you can start with nothing. You don't have to have money in order to be successful. Eventually, money is going to be a result of working hard, but in order to start, I think it's wrong for people to say, oh, I can't start working towards being successful because I don't have any money.
Which is where I think probably 95% of people see themselves.
Is that they can't start.
They can't take that first step until they make X amount.
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, 0 to 1, that's been my motto lately. It is 0 to 1. It's like doing the first hard thing. Like whatever the hard thing is, doing it the first time is always hard, but then after that it gets easier.
Yeah.
It could be literally anything, but it's like getting that first gig is going to be hard because you don't know what to expect. You don't know how to market yourself, whatever, but getting that first gig is the hardest. And then after that it's easier because now you have people you've networked inside of that and all of that stuff. But I think that's just the thing, is that you don't have to have money in order to make money. You can still make money even doing, people that are leaving their 9-to-5 jobs going out to be like a freelancer or something like that. You can be, not have as much experience freelancing,
right,
and not have a ton of money, not have your own equipment, whatever yet, but you can still go in and do hard things and get, doing the stage decks, lifting stage decks, moving all of that stuff around. You can do that stuff to build your way up into getting, to be a high level creative.
Yeah.
At least that's my thought on it.
I mean, just to go back, I was listening to a podcast this week, and they were sharing this story about a teacher that, I may be saying it wrong. I got to go back and recap on it. But I was listening to a podcast this week, and it was about a story of a teacher that set an empty jar
Mm-hmm.
on a table. I don't know if you've heard this.
Mm-hmm.
But she set this empty jar on a table, and she asked a student, how many marbles does it take to fill up this empty jar?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what he answered?
Mm-hmm.
1. Because no matter what you're doing, no matter where you're at, it always takes that first step to fill something up.
Yeah.
To fill up that next step on where you're wanting to get. And so it takes 1 marble to fill up an empty jar.
Yeah.
And of course, the more marbles you put in, the fuller it gets.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of goes back to what you were saying is that's why it was hard for me to kind of understand the perspective of this unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
Is because my mindset compared to where it was to where it is now, you always have to reflect on where you started and your why.
Yeah.
It's always going to fall back on your why and understanding who you are as a person.
Yeah.
And so it's like you have to take that first step to be successful.
Yeah.
Not necessarily money or whatever it may be. Yeah. So, but to go along with kind of the journey of the 5 levels of being a creative.
Yeah.
That first step is always going to be the hardest.
Yeah.
That level 1.
Yep.
Level 1 is going to be the hardest.
Yeah.
Because you have no idea where you're going to start, who you're going to connect with, the network you're going to be in, the skill sets that you're going to have in order for things to happen.
Yeah. Well, and I remember when I was what we would call a level 1 right now. And I mean, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just saying yes to anything. Like anybody that was like, hey, we need a person. I was like, cool, sign me up. I didn't even know what I was getting into.
Yeah. I mean, that's really how it got into all of the creative stuff.
Yeah.
Making graphics when you didn't really know how to make graphics.
But you learned.
But I learned.
YouTube is a friend.
Right.
Yeah.
YouTube University. It's great.
What about Dreamer University? Anyways,
wow. Sneak peek.
Freelancer going from job to job, barely making ends meet would be what my idea would be for a level 1 of a creative. And I think that is going to be kind of like the foundation. I think a lot of people right now are in either this level 1 or level 2.
Yep.
But really just being a freelancer is, and we've talked about this in a couple different podcasts, but I think like that level 1 spot is where a lot of people get to and get stuck because they have the ability to start building a network. They're obviously building their skill set. They're kind of getting the mindset of like how to be a business person, because I mean, we all know once you become a freelancer, like even in the financial side of it, there's like a whole tax thing you have to figure out now. Like there's, hoorah IRS. Anyways, but there's a whole tax side of things you have to figure out. You have to figure out like what write-offs are. Like it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is there's not a place really that teaches you how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
There's really not. Like, I mean, I got blessed to have grown up with like my mom, who she's always owned a business. She's always had independent contractors. I knew what the term independent contractor was when I was like 8, just because mom always had independent contractors. She had a gym, like a fitness studio kind of deal. And so she had a bunch of independent teachers that would come in and teach classes and stuff like that. And so I always knew. But then also anytime we would go to do different, like if we were traveling or whatever, like I always learned what a write-off was, because mom's like, oh, hey, we're going to go and I'm going to go to a class, and then I'm going to go and, meet some of the instructors in the area or whatever. And now the trip is a write-off. And I'm like, oh, sneaky. But it's so true. Like you have no idea. I mean, I could go to Disney World and go talk with some of the production people and it's a write-off. Like it's amazing. So, but there's all kinds of different stuff. But I feel like there's a lot of people that don't know how to do any of that. Like taxes is hard. I filed taxes for the first year that I was really an entrepreneur. I had no clue what I was doing. Yeah. Luckily, I didn't have to pay a return or pay taxes because I had taken care of everything in advance. And so I actually ended up getting a return. But like, I had no idea what I was doing. I had all of these, I had write-offs coming in, but I had 1099s coming. Like I had all of these different things. I had no clue. Yeah. And I think that's kind of like, that's that level 1 where you're really learning that foundation. You're learning how to go from being either working a 9-to-5 job where you're a W-2 employee, all your taxes are taken care of, really everything is just taken care of. Because I mean, another thing that people don't talk about is like when you're a freelancer, you usually don't have insurance and stuff like that anymore. So like that's a whole thing you have to figure out. Like there's all of these things that you get being a benefit of a W-2 employee, but you don't get as much opportunity for an upside with being a freelancer, entrepreneur, creative thing. Anyways, so that's my idea of a level 1 is I think that there would be, just that freelancer kind of mentality. Level 2 is when you level up to having, being an entrepreneur, you have the network, you know, tons of people, you're kind of dabbling into like, oh, okay, I can go to this one guy that has a need. This guy needs 4 different people. I can now contract my friends or colleagues to come in and work for me. This guy's going to pay just me. And then I'll divvy it all up and pay the people, whatever their rates are, all of that stuff. That's the stage where you're like, oh, okay, am I owning a business? Am I still technically a sole proprietor? Like there's all of these things. You're trying to figure out kind of what that world is right there. You have the network to make things happen. You know how to contract people, all of that, but you're not really like thinking scalability wise. I stayed as a level 2 person for a really long time. I had no clue what I was doing. I didn't care about making a profit. I didn't care like any of that. I was just like, okay, cool. Like, I'll be the person that you can pay and then I'll pay them. And there's so much I didn't know about that either, like liability insurance. Like there's all of the things I had no idea. And anyway, so that's a level 2. I think a lot of people get out of the level 1 and get into this level 2 area and stay there. I don't think a lot of them really go past that, really, honestly.
Honestly, I saw myself sitting in that level 2 for a really long time. Like for real. Because I was in the same state of thinking that was it.
Well, did you ever, you never really contracted out people though, right?
There was only 1 or 2 projects where I personally had to contract people out. But it's because I couldn't be there. And so when it came to being the yes person, that's more of what I'm talking about, is being the yes person and not really putting the trust in other people. And I feel like a lot of creatives, and it goes back to a lot of the things that we talk about, is we are afraid to trust or even coach and teach people these things because we are afraid to not necessarily be afraid to take that step to level 3. But just in the sense of we don't want to lose the opportunity to work with this client again. Because we are afraid of if we do bring someone in, they're going to do it better than us. And they're going to just completely jump over us to contract this person out by themselves. Which happens all the time.
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
Entrepreneurs sometimes are the biggest backstabbers in the entire world. But
it's kind of like, so we have a pastor here on site and he has a shirt on today. And his shirt has these 2 skeletons on it, and it says "I've got your back," but the other skeleton has literally their backbone.
It's literally his spine.
Literally his spine, and that's kind of like.
Well, I looked at him and I was like, man, that shirt is like so true. Except for a lot of the times there's a knife that they're holding the spine with.
Literally.
Because they're like, oh, yeah, I got your back while I ripped it out of your back and have it because I stabbed you in the back. Like, that's so crazy, though. It's because there is so many people, and it's so sad, honestly.
But
there's so many people that say they have your back, and all they're wanting to do is stab you in the back and hold it and be like, yeah, I got your back, here it is.
And
like when you play with a little kid and say, I got your nose. No, but no, there's it's crazy. But at the same time, like there's a lot of really good community, I think, too, inside the creative industry. And I think, I'll save that for later. Anyway, so level 2 is the new entrepreneur.
There's certain locations that kind of take advantage of you.
Oh yeah, I wasn't going there, but that's the truth. Yeah, one thing I think really can offend people. Well, I'll get to that in a second too, because I did a poll. I did a poll, and people told me what they hate about being a creative. We'll talk about that in a second.
All right, let's go to level 3.
Level 3 is. So level 1 and level 2, you're hands in. Like you are full on hands in, because there's 3 levels to that too. There's hands in, hands on, and hands off. So hands in is like you're in the dirt, like you're doing it. Level 1 and level 2, you're hands in still. Level 3 is more of a hands-on position. You're not
Mhm.
fully involved doing the work, but you're still involved in like
Yep.
projects per se. So you're still that entrepreneur kind of figuring it out. By this time, you've probably like started a business,
Mhm.
you started understanding, oh, hey, there's like insurance needs, there's all these things,
Yep.
business side, because I'm a systems person, so business side has all the things. But then inside of that, you're also able to like communicate with clients, get the vision of what they're wanting to do. You could be doing an entire project, uh, and able to communicate the vision out. And so I
Yeah.
think that that's kind of like once you're able to level up there, you're understanding, okay, cool. There's like, I need to make a profit. I'm now a creative that's still able to kind of catch the vision from the client, communicate the vision, execute the vision, and now I'm going to start making
Yep.
money out of it.
Yep.
And like not just, pass it straight through to, a contractor, but like, okay,
Yeah.
cool, contractor's working for me. I'm adding percentage to that
Right.
and making money off of it. Because now you're actually working for business. You have to make money.
Yep.
So as you're going through that, I think that that's going to be, that'll be a little bit, I know a lot of really successful people that have gone through all of these levels.
Yeah.
And I
Within the
think,
first year.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
they
it's
go
few.
through it
Very
looks
few.
I think there's a lot of people that looks like they went through it in 1 year, but
Yeah.
there was a lot of prep work that happened
That's good.
beforehand. There's
That's
a
good.
lot of
Yeah.
prep work, because one of the things that I think is really crazy is you can be gone, like completely disappear from the world, really, for a period of time, like 2 years, and then all of a sudden you're just dropping everything all at once, and
Yeah.
it's like, look at all this stuff that I've done in 2 years, but you
Yeah.
have no idea that they were even doing anything in 2 years.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, where did they go? They disappeared. And then all of a sudden you have all of these courses and events and contracts and all of these things, and you're like, oh
Mhm.
my gosh, where did that happen? And it's like out of nowhere, but the amount of hard work that went into it
Yeah.
leading up to it is unreal.
Yeah.
Okay, level 4,
Let's go.
they're the ones casting the vision for events.
Mhm.
So now they're not even just doing client work.
Yep.
Now they're working on internal projects. How can you create events? How can you create projects and stuff like that that's going to create noise in the industry? So, doing your own, like putting your own concerts together. Think about it like I'm working for a client doing his own thing, doing his own concert, doing his own corporate event, whatever.
Mhm.
And then now I'm going to shift and start working on my own things that people are going to pay to come to. So like you could have an idea, you can be going through, working on all of the, you could have courses, you can have all kinds of different things.
Mhm.
How do you articulate that into getting somebody to have so much faith and belief in you? How do you get to the point where you've added so much value, they feel like they have to pay to come in and hear more of what you have to give?
Yeah. And I would even add, I'm gonna add this right here, but even within that level, you can have businesses within businesses as well.
Yeah.
And so just because you made it from level 1 doesn't mean you're leaving that level behind. You're always going to have your level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. You're always going to have something that travels with you. It's an easier way of explaining it is there's always going to be one piece of you that travels the entire journey of every level.
Yeah.
And with that comes with that comes the network, the skill set, and the mindset of the entire journey of your career. And so tying it back into, we'll go into the next level after this, but that's tying it back to you don't need money to be successful.
You could start at level 1 with no money.
You can start at level 1 with no money.
Mm-hmm.
And the same things that you develop in skill 1 or level 1, the same skills, the same mindset, and the same network that you're building over the whole process.
Yeah.
And I would even take this a little bit deeper. I just had this thought, Jarrett, is like level 1, I would say level 1 and level 2 are building your skill set.
Mm-hmm.
Level 2 and level 3 are going to be your mindset. How do I take what I'm learning and start turning it into kind of the thought process on how to run a business, how to do the little things.
Could work both ways. I think networking could also be work in that level 3, level 4.
It could, but that's also, it could. But you're also taking that skill set and that mindset into all these different things. But then that level 4, level 5, you're dealing with more of the network mindset. And
honestly, you could look at it too. You could say level 1 is skill set.
Yeah.
Level 2 could be mindset.
Yep.
And level 3 could be network. And then after that,
Yeah.
you're just scaling.
Literally just
Because
scaling.
that's what the level 5 is all about, is
right.
having a business that's scalable. So now
And-
you're taking
Yep.
you're taking completely out of the what we were just talking about, casting vision, all of that
Mhm.
stuff, and you're taking it to where you're not even the person doing it anymore.
Right.
Imagine like what we're doing here with Warplan Studios. Like our goal is to have 5 locations in 5 years.
Yep.
We're super hands-on, hands-in right now just because
Yeah.
of where we're at.
We're
But
definitely through the like level 1 through 3 right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
But imagine getting to the point, which it's crazy because we've been able to empower people that are even in the studio now. And like there's been, transitions, all the crazy things that
All
happen
of
in
it.
business.
Yep.
But like I've been able to see somebody that I've known since he was like probably 14,
Mm-hmm.
13, 14.
I think he said he was 13.
Yeah. It's been so long, and
Yeah.
he's 22 now. So it's like 9 years. That's so crazy. Anyways, I've known somebody since he was that little, that small, doing hard things.
Yep.
Started with technically no money. I mean, he was
Mhm.
being, a stage crew member at the church.
Yep.
And wanting to just be a part of
Yeah.
something. And
Yeah.
so he was doing that, like super introverted. Didn't like want to be around people. I can hear him yelling because he works here now, so I hear him agreeing. But like super introverted, not really wanting to be a part, whatever.
Yeah.
And he started doing stage crew. Then he started wiggling his way into student ministry. Then he started wiggling his way into being on cameras for main service. Then he started doing CG and prompter, and I think he
Yep.
directed at one point. And then he started contracting, which he had no money. Now he's making money, so he's a level 1 at this point.
What's crazy to me is he's never worked a 9-to-5 job
No,
since he was 13.
I mean, yeah. Now it's kind of a 9-to-5 job, but it's not because
Yeah,
we're
I
doing
know.
all
Sorry.
kinds. We're doing
Sorry,
all
Willie.
kinds of crazy things. But there's more to it though.
There is more to it.
Because so he finally started getting contracted.
Yep.
He was a freelancer, doing his job, whatever, just doing photos, drone stuff, video, all of the things. I mean,
Mhm.
we were bringing him I was bringing him in for video shoots, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Then he's gotten to the point, I know that he's contracted some people once or twice before. So he's technically a level 2. But then him and I were talking yesterday, and we were like, hey, what if like you were also able to come up with some cool ideas and like have a merch company?
Mm-hmm.
Like imagine what that would look like. And then we're here, like the studio and all of like the companies, everything we're doing here, we're able to help kind of push that, because that's something that he's passionate about.
Yep.
It's like we're able to help him come up with cool stuff like that.
Yeah.
Cool stuff that could also incorporate stuff with Broke Creatives. I mean, like the hats that we just got, shoot, he came up with all those. Like they're cool.
The hats, the social media, the reels, everything.
Yeah. Anyways, and so like just because he works here, and I told him this, I was like, just because you work here doesn't mean that you're locked down to always being an employee. Like you can still grow way past that and be an entrepreneur.
And a lot of people, a lot of places aren't like that.
Yeah.
There's a bucket.
Yep.
There's a cap.
Yep.
And that cap doesn't come off.
Yeah. Lids.
Lids.
Good time. Anyways, so yeah, level 5 is having a business that's scalable.
Yeah.
And I think that that's gonna be the part, is having people that you can empower inside of your company, inside of your business.
Yep.
That can take the reins and go with it. And then at that point you can have a bunch of different arms like underneath all of the, all the things. So like I was saying, the reason I brought Will up is because like obviously we've had a bunch of just different things happen in a business that normally would happen. But Will was promoted this week.
Yeah.
And he didn't know it was coming.
He had no idea.
He had no idea. But guess what? It happened. And now he's over all of our social media. He's over all of the AV tech side of the studio. And he's actually hiring a person.
He's taking care of the entire process
from beginning to end. It's going to be amazing. And he's learning so much. I already know he's learning so much, but he's excited about it. And it's crazy to see how somebody that I knew when he was 13, super awkward, introverted little kid, grow up to already be hiring people. He's 22, like freaking killing the game, like doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Anyways, all that to say, those are the 5 levels. And I think that we're going to have some pretty cool stuff with these 5 levels coming soon.
I'm super excited. And
But
one thing I would say with that is I don't know if this is going to be on a tangent or another topic, but he had the same mindset and the same drive at 13 years old as he does now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not just being a yes man, it's understanding the value behind what you're doing.
Yeah.
And he has.
You know
since
how
day
many
one.
times he's done stuff
Without
that he
either,
doesn't want to do,
well,
but he's going to do it anyways?
Yeah.
You
But
know how many
I
times?
feel like sometimes he does that while it's hard to explain. He gets frustrated in the moment
Oh, yeah.
and then he does
Love
it,
it.
but then he goes the extra mile
To
even
make sure it's done
while
extra
he's
well.
feeling that way. But
It's
he
kinda
doesn't
like
tell
he
you
has
that
a-
last part that he did.
It's like an internal middle finger is happening.
It's
for
like
sure.
an internal middle finger, and then there's like an extra oof. Okay, here's your pillow to lay on, and
Yeah.
you're just like surprised.
Yeah.
It happens almost every time. Not the attitude part. Maybe, maybe that. No, I'm just kidding. But for real, he's had that drive. He's
Yeah.
had that mentality from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And that's why he is where he is.
Yeah. Well, and it's like finding those people is such a hard thing.
It's rare,
Such a hard thing.
very rare. And when you find them, hold on to them.
Yeah.
But most of the time, you don't have to hold on to them as much.
Because they want to be here anyway.
Instead of like holding them two hands, you're just holding them on one hand because
Yeah.
they're helping themselves.
Yeah, that's the truth.
It's pretty cool. Pretty cool to watch.
I have a question for you.
Go for it.
What do you hate about being a creative?
The first thought in my mind is nothing.
No, but what do you hate about being creative?
Nothing, because we get paid on doing arts and crafts.
Okay. Okay, so I did a poll. And one of the polls that we did it inside. If you're not a part of this group, there's a group on Facebook. There's a ton of people in it. Just come be a part of the group. It's called Broke Creatives, ironically.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good one.
Anyways, Broke Creatives community. But inside of it, there's all of these people. There's creatives from all over. I would definitely encourage you to go into it, because if you're not in it right now, that's a good place where you can network with people. We're going to be launching some stuff in there. Like, you have no idea. It's about to be so cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, all of that to say, I did a poll inside of there, and I asked people, I said, what do you hate most about being creative? I gave some different options, but then I also left it open to where people could add stuff. So that's where Sean was talking about nothing. We get paid to do arts and crafts. We do get paid to do arts and crafts.
But there's
At
so
a
many things.
surface level, I guess. But anyways,
Are you in kindergarten?
no, stop. Anyways, okay, so the top one, this is the number one. All of these are really good, but the top one that was voted for is non-experts who passionately share their opinion.
Wow. Well,
I can guarantee every single creative that I know has experienced this. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Non-experts who passionately share their opinion. Their opinion, like, everybody's allowed to have an opinion.
They are. But it always comes down to
Staying in your lane.
staying in your lane in the moment that things happen.
Yeah. Now, when I say non-experts passionately sharing their opinion, if you have a client, obviously you have to do what the client is paying you to do.
Right. Yeah.
But if you're doing a thing and you have somebody that says, oh, yeah, you're not doing it right. Well, right is relative.
Mm-hmm.
Right really is relative. I mean, for the most part, there is like rights and wrongs. But in the creative space, there's so much fluidity in how to do something. Like, there's so many different ways to get from point A to point B. There's so many different ways.
Yeah.
Like, think about if you were editing a video and you wanted to go in and do words like captions, you could do it in Premiere. You could do it in an iPhone app. You could do it in After Effects if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Heck, you could do it in Photoshop and make individual I mean, there's so many different ways. But yeah, non-experts who passionately share their opinion was number one. Number two was people not acknowledging your work, which that happens a lot too. That's something that I feel like there's a lot of.
That was number two?
Yeah, that was number two.
Interesting.
Yeah. Number three is people who don't want to pay what you're worth.
I would put that at number two.
I mean, I'm just going based off of what people. Did you go on and vote?
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
For number one.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
I'm gonna check right now.
Go check.
Anyways,
one of the biggest, and so going back to what you were talking about, there's situations for an opinion.
Yeah.
And it's if you ask for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so sometimes people can get caught up. Okay, let's take it back to the first job that you've ever done, like first production, traveling. So first tour, going out, have no idea what to expect.
I had no clue.
idea what to expect. You're a little scared to ask that first question if you don't know something.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
what I had to get used to really quick and really fast is you have to ask those questions and not be afraid to ask those questions in order to grow and learn.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is one day you're going to surpass the guys that you're asking questions to.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that your value and your work ethic will 100% surpass the guys that you're asking questions.
Yeah. Well, you don't.
And
I
so
mean, you don't
once
want to be the smartest person in the room,
Well, right.
but you want to be the smartest
You
person in
want
the room
to
so that you
be.
can find a new room.
Right.
Yeah.
Say that one more time.
You don't want to be the smartest person in the room, but you want to be the smartest person in a room so that you can find a new room.
A new room.
Yeah, that's good.
So good.
We need to create room.
We do need to create a room.
That's a whole thing. Anyways, people who don't respect the creative process.
Can we clarify that a little bit more?
I mean, I think that there's a creative process for everything. So like when you're editing a video, there's the storyboarding side of it. There's the time that it takes to come up with writing the script for a video. There's the creative process is I remember one time I went in and I was helping come up with sermon series for a young adults ministry. And there's a whole creative process for it that usually starts with planning the series out and exactly why you're planning, which, honestly, now that I think about it, sermon series planning is all macro, micro, nano, all of it.
Yeah.
Literally, you could plan anything with macro, micro, nanos. And I think that's a whole thing that we could talk about at some point. But
right.
Literally, you just have to figure out exactly what you're wanting to communicate down to the individual piece of communication. But when you're trying to create a strategy, especially with social media, that's one of the things that I'm working with Will on right now is we're going to come up with exactly what we want to communicate from looking at a year perspective down to a quarter, down to a month, down to a week, down to a day. Because realistically, think about it. If we had one post every single day, that's 365 pieces of content that needs to be created. That's a lot of stuff, but it's not unusual. That's going to be a thing. We're going to be posting stuff every single day.
Yeah. It's going to be an everyday thing.
There has to be something and on top of that, Will's not only doing a lot of the stuff with Broke Creatives, but we're doing Warplan Studios, we're doing Unicorn Squad, we're doing the Warplan podcast, we're going to be doing some Warplan Insiders, there's Recession Marketing, there's a bunch of all of these other things that we're going to have to be managing. And inside of all of that, there's a plan for every single one of them. Mm-hmm. That's a creative process, if you ask me. That's a creative process. What have you done, as far as creative process? What have you experienced as far as going and creating a creative process?
Yeah, that's a huge question because, like you said, there's a creative process for everything.
Yeah.
The reason why I wanted to clarify is because are we speaking on the hate for the creative process?
No, we're talking about the people that don't respect it.
Yeah. So these people that aren't respecting it are the same ones that haven't experienced it themselves.
Yeah. So say it would be the non-experts.
The non-experts. And these are the same people that have the most interesting opinions.
Yeah.
On the way you do things.
Yeah.
Or how your process looks. Oof. And so that's where my mind was wondering is we have the non-expert so it goes back to the non-experts who passionately share their opinion.
Yeah.
And it ties into each other.
Yeah. Okay. There's another one on here. Another one that was voted
it gives
pretty
me
high
chills because
was deadlines and clients not understanding deadlines. Yeah. If they understood the creative process, they'd probably understand the deadline.
I have an opinion on that, and my mindset has shifted tremendously from that.
Yeah.
Setting clear expectations up front. Setting clear expectations.
Because all frustration comes from unmet expectations. How many times have we? No, because you're gonna screw
No,
with
not.
me or
This
something.
is
No,
this one's
I'm
for
not,
real.
I'm not doing it.
This one's for real.
Nope.
I promise, Jarrett.
Nope.
It's sticking right here.
Okay. Anyways, so can you imagine if there were clear expectations? I'm not gonna do it.
Keep talking.
Can you imagine how many times you've had frustrated clients and you wouldn't have to deal with the frustration if your communication was clear?
Right.
How
And
many
so
times
the
have you
deadlines-
encountered that?
So a lot. But a lot of the time there's going to be, again, you have to have clear expectations for yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have clear expectations for yourself, it's always going to be a yes man.
Yeah.
And you're going to turn into a yes man. And the next thing you know, you have 20 clients backed up. And
Would you say you're a yes man?
I would 100% say that Sean is a yes man.
Do you think that's a problem?
100%.
What are you going to do to fix it?
I have fixed it in the sense of,
No, you just said I'm a 100% am a yes man, which is current.
well, yeah, you can be okay. So you're a yes man, but if you have clear expectations of your skill set and everything else that goes into the creative process, my fist is still sitting here ready for you, Jarrett. So I feel like you can be a yes man to the extent of knowing time management, expectations for yourself, and the creative process that it takes. And I feel like if you share those things with the people, you can both come to a conclusion for how the project is going to come about.
Yeah, I would agree.
So even though, I mean, but that goes back to the definition of a yes man. Yes man, you say yes to everything and you try and do everything without communicating what you're doing.
Yeah, but how many times do you think that you could say yes without actually fully thinking it through of what a project would take?
It can be an instant thing,
What could be an instant thing?
saying yes.
Right, but it shouldn't be an instant thing.
It shouldn't.
Right.
Yeah, it shouldn't. But the moment that you say yes, you're already committed to making it happen.
Right, but then when you can't make it happen, then you're over promising and under delivering.
To an extent.
No, to 100%.
It can be 100% to an extent.
No, what?
Jarrett, just give me a fist bump, please. Look at that. There's going to be flames that pop out.
No, they're not.
Okay, so just to clarify, you can be a yes man if you set the clear expectations within within your own self.
Mm-hmm.
So
No,
this goes back to how Sean thinks.
Yeah, being
I'm
a
already
yes man, though, is
processing-
saying yes to everything. That's what being a yes man is, and it is
Which is
bad.
where
It is not
which is where we-
scalable as an entrepreneur
where
to
we-
be a yes man.
right. Which is where your systems, your mindset, the understanding of your timelines, everything that goes into creating that creative process.
Yeah, but you can't have
You
a
have to-
creative process if you say yes to everything.
Oof, that's another unpopular opinion. Because I truly
I
believe
can't
so.
wait for people to watch this.
The way
you
that
have to comment on the YouTube video. Comment what you think. Comment on the YouTube video. Comment on, like, send us DMs on Instagram. I want to know what you think.
share the way that you think as well.
Yeah.
Do you think in like bubbles? So this is why I say that I'm 100% a yes man, is because I have the ability to think of the process before I even say yes. So I already have these millions of steps to check off my list to say yes.
Right.
But where it has come back to bite me is the time management, because my skill set hasn't been good enough to fit the timeline that I've told someone yes.
So why
Which
would
is
you
where
continue
I've
to
learned-
disappoint people by saying yes to everything?
Well, I mean, okay, I'm not saying yes to literally everything on the planet. I'm saying yes to the things that I know that I'm capable of pulling off.
But not in a timeline that you're capable of
Not in
following.
the timeline that I'm capable of.
So how do you fix that?
You find the who, not the how. So
Oh,
I know
Sean.
people that have the ability to do what I do 1,000,000% faster,
Okay.
which is why we have the ability to send a ton of projects off now, because we found the who's in our
Yeah.
lives. And so I can say yes because I'm already thinking of the process, the who, the how, all of the structure in that moment.
Yeah.
But what I always forget about is the timeline. I
Yeah.
promise a 20-minute project
You say,
when
yeah,
I know
I can do it and have it ready for you tomorrow.
and
that joker going to take you like 4 days.
yeah, if Sean's doing it, it's going to take a while because I have like this sense of excellence. It's like,
So what's more important,
I
a
need
sense
to
of
come up-
urgency or a sense of excellence?
oof. Time is money.
Right.
So urgency.
So urgency?
Yeah.
Okay, so would you say you prioritize a sense of urgency?
I've
or a sense
always
of excellence?
operated off of excellence.
Right, but would you say you prioritize urgency more or excellence more?
Excellence, 100%.
Do you think that's scalable?
If your project is if the project being presented outweighs, like, let's say, okay, so answer this. Why are movies and deadlines extended? So there's been no. I'm
How
asking,
much money does it cost to extend deadlines?
Oh, a lot.
Okay.
But the value that you put into it,
you can do it as long as you're willing to pay the price.
Exactly. Boom. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes, and amen.
Okay.
So good. And so one of the things that you have to always focus on is, what does that project mean to you?
Yeah.
Where is that project going? Where are you putting it? Who is viewing it? Who's your audience? If your audience is, never mind. If your audience is someone that wants to share their opinion, that doesn't matter. Obviously, you're not going to spend the amount on them. So if you have a client that doesn't value the excellence piece and they just want to just throw something out, obviously the urgency kicks in.
Yeah.
But if you have someone that is so pristine and their brand is so important.
Yeah.
So when it comes to branding, I believe the branding is more important than marketing.
Branding is a form of marketing.
But it represents, so, okay, yes. But the way that I'm thinking of it is the person, the client, the business,
Perception.
the company. And so the perception, yes.
Is marketing.
Perception is marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is marketing. Everything is marketing.
Oh, man.
And so,
we
yeah.
need to get
so
Josh on here. Josh, I know you're listening to this.
Yes, he is.
We're waiting whenever
We do.
you're
We're
ready.
kind of dissecting Sean's brain cells right now.
Listen to this. This is good. This is for the camera's not even looking at me. This is for
It's
you.
that one.
Yeah, I know. It's okay.
It's that one. But yes, so the being a yes man, so urgency versus excellence. I honestly, that's where you have to study who you are, who you're working with. You have to study the client. You have to study the client. And so if that client's asking you for a week deadline, then it better be a week's worth of great content, because it's
Here's my thought.
Okay, go ahead.
And this is probably an unpopular opinion. Here's my thought. If there's clear communication
up front
from
day one,
yeah,
from the yes,
and the client understands what is going to happen in 10 days, if it's a 10-day turnaround,
or 14 days,
whatever,
or 30 days.
Yeah, if they're going to fully understand, okay, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get a 70% done project in 14 days because of the excellence piece.
Right.
You can still have a sense of urgency and give them a 70% product because it was well communicated.
Yes.
If you need to have more time, you need to communicate that you need to have more time to give them 100%. Right. It's all about how you frame everything.
Which comes down to comms, which is one thing that we talk about here at the studio. Huh?
What does comms stand for?
Clear communication. Or no, what do we label that as? Concentrated?
No, it was clear.
It was clear? Clear.
Over communicate.
Over meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
S. Specific.
Yeah. Anyways.
Comms.
It's a free tip for you right there.
We'll get into that a little bit more.
Man, next episode, all about communication.
All of it.
I am here for it.
So we can start landing the plane right here. But what I was saying is I feel like you can be a yes man if you understand the importance of communication.
Yeah.
And if you can nail down the communication piece, then I feel like you can be that yes person.
Yeah.
But before you can be that yes person, you have to have the people in place. You have to have the who's,
But
not
so
the hows.
if you're operating at a level 2 creative,
Okay.
imagine
Okay.
if you don't have all of the people
Okay.
yet.
Deal.
Then you just need to be able to communicate really well.
Gotcha.
And still have an sense
Sorry,
of
guys.
urgency,
Yes.
but communicate that you're
Yes.
communicate that you
Yes.
have a sense, like you'll show your sense of urgency in your communication, and then give them expectations that
Yeah.
hey, it's not going to take 14 days because I want to make sure that you're getting a good product.
Yeah.
But still have a sense of urgency, which means if that means you need, like, here's my thought: if you have a deadline, say the deadline's on the 3rd, and it's the 4th,
Mm-hmm.
you're still not done.
Or
need to
you just
communicate.
started
It's
the
5th.
project.
You still aren't done. You need to communicate. You should be communicating every single day,
Right.
so that they don't ever have questions. If they have to communicate to you,
Mhm.
saying where's the project, where's the final
Yep.
deliverable, blah, blah, blah.
Communication has been
There
missed.
has to be communication, literally every single day.
Yeah.
If there's not, then you're setting yourself up for disappointment and frustration
Yeah.
because there's no expectation of when a thing is going to be done.
Where it becomes unhealthy too is when you feel like, or you wake up in the morning and you feel like you have to be a yes person. Because I feel like that's where you start to dig your own rut, is when you feel like
You have a
internally that
lid
you
on when you
have
say
to.
yes to everything.
You do, because you get caught into projects that you aren't passionate about. And guys, it's okay to say that you're not passionate about this certain thing.
Yeah.
Because they
But
don't want
that's all about who, not how. Is like find your who's that are passionate about the
Right.
thing that's needed.
right.
Bring them onto your team.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll blow up.
Yeah. So even though you're going, and always remember, if you're going to be that yes person, you're going to be the person that is reliable for everything that goes wrong for that project.
Yeah.
The moment you say yes is a signature that's signing off on the final product. And if that final product is not good, who does that come back to?
Yeah.
It comes back to the person that originally said yes.
That is so true.
And so to answer your question a little bit more, Jarrett, yes, I'm the yes person, but I also understand the weight that it carries.
Yeah.
Which is important.
You're like we got some balloons.
Yeah,
I
we
think they're
do.
right there. You're like a balloon that if it isn't tied off, then you're just going to fly away.
Oh, I'm going to say, yeah. Yeah.
But it's okay. That's what we're here for.
It is. And
Okay, I'm
that's-
going to read the last couple
for it.
poll
Sorry.
options because there's some really good ones, then we can land this plane.
Yep.
Constant work on mental health is one of the things that somebody hates about being a creative, which I think is something that people don't talk about a lot, is kind of goes in with what you're doing, is like always making sure that your brain is in check while you're doing all these projects. You're not getting overwhelmed. You're still having a healthy
Yeah.
balance.
Yeah.
It all goes back to the very first episode when we talked about the work-life balance. There's a circle and all it goes back to it. Anyways,
Honestly,
somebody
so what we're going to do, and I can create this, what we're going to do is we're actually going to create a PDF.
Yeah.
And we're going to attach this PDF down below. And what we
Mhm.
want you to do is actually do this yourself. It's going to be a chart that has different levels of circles and different categories. And
Yeah.
you're just going to put what line or
Yeah.
put a dot on the line.
If you listen to
So,
this podcast,
yes.
go onto the Facebook group, because the Facebook group is where this is going to be. Everything's going to be here. That's going to be where our community thing is. That's where you're going to be able to go and interact with us.
Yeah.
We're going to all be present on there. So you'll be able to talk to us, ask us questions.
Mhm.
All the things is going to happen through Facebook. A lot of that group on there.
Yeah.
We're going to get these PDFs and stuff. It'll also be on the website. So we'll make sure that you can get directly to Facebook from the website, but we'll also put the information there.
We
as well.
definitely want to start providing content for you guys, not in the sense of just video and podcast.
Yeah.
But we want to give you some tangible items
Yeah.
that you can carry throughout the week,
Yeah.
or that you can print off and share with somebody, or even purchase, and like tips, tricks, weekly emails, weekly encouragement. We definitely want to start doing that for you guys, and we will.
Yeah.
And we're super excited for what's to come. But Jarrett, go ahead and finish your thought.
Last one from a guy. This guy, he's freaking dope. His name is Drake
Oof.
Kelch. Anyways,
Drake
he said one, which I think he said it more recently. That's probably why there hasn't been a lot of people that have posted or like responded and voted for it. But I voted for it because it goes. Honestly, there's two people who said the same thing. So the other one had quite a bit of votes. So we'll just combine them. Drake says clients not wanting to be original,
Mm-hmm.
which is a huge thing, especially in
is.
the church world. Especially in the church world,
Yep.
is there's people that are like, oh my gosh, we need to be just like them. Which, the funny thing is Drake. So he used to be the production director for Bethel Music.
Yep.
Which, hey, you're actually wearing the sweater right now. That's funny. Anyways, he used to be the production director for Bethel. He did all kinds of crazy, like insane stuff. And I remember when I worked at a church, and the amount of times that I heard, we need to do what they did. I want to have that stage set. I want our lights to look like that. We're going to do this version of a song. Because people cannot be original. And it drives me nuts.
Well, they can. They don't want to. Because they are stuck in a lot of different levels in life.
The other person says people who copy other people's work, which is the same thing of not wanting to be original. But I think, and to Drake's point, I think that a lot of people, and I'm sure he's experienced it, especially with doing all the stuff that he did with Bethel and stuff like that. Like, there's so many times people are like, oh, I want to do exactly what they did. I want to do it exactly how they did. I want to do, all of the things exactly like how somebody else has done it before, because I know it works.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, not everything that works for one person is going to work for you, ever. Like, it's never cookie cutter, ever.
Yep.
I mean, there's trial and error. The amount of trial and error, like I know for a fact, the amount of trial and error that Drake had to go through in being the production director, coming up with things, having things that are going to work really well, things that aren't going to work really well. I mean, they did Heaven Come Conference. That is some of the craziest things that I've ever seen. I remember, and I always tell people, because I was helping with Daniel Cannell, who's also a literally like
beast.
He's a beast. He's literally somebody that I've learned so much from. And like him and I aren't even like that close, but I've learned so much from him. Yeah. And the little bit amount of time that I have spent with him, it's just been like unreal. But he was doing lighting at Heaven Come.
The way that y'all communicate to each other is like incredible.
Who?
He values your input as well.
Yeah. He's amazing.
Anyways,
the way that I even learned stuff from him at Heaven Come is I was hearing all of the things that like nobody would ever know. There's all of the challenges that he ran into, that even just the production team as a whole ran into. Like, it was unreal, but you would never know because of how they operated in such excellence. But then also they were able to go in and remedy the problems and all of that stuff. They set trends like nobody's business. But it's not even like Bethel. Yeah, Bethel's done that. But then even like with Transformation right now, they're on a whole nother level too. Like they are setting trends like nobody's business. I know a couple different people that have done stuff with them. We went and visited them during, because they just reopened their building, but we went and visited during like when everything was shut down still, and because they were remodeling, their building was huge, and Daniel's been a huge part. Also, shout out to my guy Brian. Freaking Brian, he's a dope dude too. Anyways, there's so many crazy cool people. But I would just say, I mean, there's a lot of people that work really hard to come up with creative ideas, and they have to work through trial and error trying to figure things out. And I could see how that is something that would get really frustrating in being a creative, is that you hear somebody say, hey, I don't want to be creative, I just want to copy somebody else that
because it's
did
easy.
something good.
It's
the
so
easy way out.
It's the easiest way and then it also comes back. It's the easiest way, but it's also easy because you don't have to work hard. Yeah. But also the creative process becomes easier when you have a base.
You think people that are in the creative industry struggle with doing hard things? I mean, like, actually, I know that we hear that all the time. There's do hard things. Like, that is Josh's family thing, is do hard things. But I really think like in the creative industry, a lot of people love to take the easy way out, and copying other people's work or saying, oh yeah, I just want to be like them, is like, that's not wanting to do hard things. Yeah. I think that if people in the creative industry could understand and really grasp onto the like, hey, let's level up, let's do the hard thing, let's come up with a concept from scratch, let's set a trend. Like, why do so many creatives think they have to follow a trend instead of setting trends? Because how do you think all these trendsetters are coming up with their trends? They're literally, like Kanye West, for example. He is amazing at setting trends, and
William's beating on the wall in there.
He is amazing at setting trends, though. Literally, I could literally like give him a hat that I drew something on. Like, if I had a marker on a hat and I drew on it and he wore it, somebody would figure out how to duplicate it and sell them for $500 a piece. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
he
it goes
just-
back to the same reason why people love Ezra. And people listening to this, we don't even have to say his last name for people to know who he is.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's Ezra. He has
Ezra
created
Cohen.
this world of just phenomenal is like the least. There isn't really any word to set
Yeah.
just how incredible he is and what he does.
Yeah.
But he has put himself
I mean,
out.
he's a trendsetter too, though.
I
mean,
just
he is,
can't. He is because
Yeah.
everybody from the EDM world to the country to praise and
Ooh,
worship
you know what we need
to
to talk about in the next
churches
podcast?
to rap to R&B, all of these different levels and genres of music videos. How much content have we seen?
Hey,
And
on the
how
next
many times
podcast,
have
let's
we-
talk about how the church world creatively is so much farther ahead and a trendsetter to the secular world.
Perfect timing. And
Anyways,
it's like you walk into a room. Oh, that's Ezra.
yeah, you're like, yeah. Listen, okay, so
oh, that's yeah.
so we both go to this
Every
amazing
time.
church called Mercy Culture, right?
Yep, we love
And
it. Absolutely
such an amazing church.
If you're
And
from Fort Worth to DFW, or even if you live in Denton, Mercy Culture.
it's amazing. Anyways, so we go to Mercy Culture, and there was these videos, and I was like, man, those look awfully like a Ezra Cohen video. Like
Really
those are,
familiar.
that's like, and it's crazy that you can look at a video and you can see effects and stuff like that, and you're like, my
Cheaters.
Ezra Cohen senses are tingling.
My Ezzy.
That's
Ezzy
it.
senses.
Anyways, and you know,
We're gonna get a hat that says Ezzy senses and
yeah. Anyways, the
hashtag
crazy thing
Ezzy.
is I found out that he was actually helping out, and like, I mean, he wasn't doing all the videos himself, but he was helping out the team that was doing a lot of those videos.
Right.
And it's so crazy, and I mean, such an
It's so
amazing guy,
incredible.
such an amazing
So
guy,
incredible.
and a lot of the team, even at Mercy Culture, like they love to level up. And one of the things specifically there that has blown my mind is a lot of them, and this is even like a lot of churches want to be like this, but I don't think they know how to get to this place, is they value presence over performance.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, you can totally tell, because I mean, they're still setting trends, they're still doing
Yeah.
all the things, but they don't even try. They don't care about following somebody else's,
Yep.
thing. They don't care about like, they are original. Like
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah.
And they're setting the trends that so many other churches are doing.
Yeah. But it's because they do it because they love it.
Yeah.
They do it because they love it, and it is their why.
Yeah.
That was really awesome.
That was a long episode, but it was good. I
It
feel
was
like
so
that would.
good.
I feel like
It
that
was
one
so
was probably
good.
pretty good, and Will will probably hit the wall if he agrees.
There it
There
is.
it is. Anyways, like and subscribe. Join the Facebook group.
Yeah,
that is
guys.
my biggest encouragement for you. And Will's probably like, "Oh my gosh, Facebook's for boomers." But guess what? There's gonna be so much stuff on it. He's hitting the wall. I guarantee it to agree. Yep, there it is.
There it is.
Anyways, but join the Facebook group. Because one of these days we're gonna just develop our own software because Facebook sucks. He's gonna hit the wall to agree with that too. But Facebook, it's just weird. Some of the way that it's the best tool that we have right this second, but one of these days our website is going to be completely developed out to where we can do that.
So do you feel like we're a bunch of creatives stuck in a bucket with Facebook?
No, what?
I
mean,
we're a bunch of creatives stuck in a bucket.
Here's the thing is inside marketing.
So we
is
need a
everything.
space. We
Marketing
need a
is
space
everything.
and we need
Right
a
now we
circle of creatives that's not stuck in a bucket.
We ain't there yet. We aren't telling anybody about that yet. Stop talking. Stay tuned. Coming soon. I had a dream and I'm making it a reality. Anyways, all that to say, like, follow, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, comment as you're watching, comment on YouTube about whether you agree, what your thoughts are. What do you hate about being a creative? What do you love about being a creative? Tell us. We want to know. Message us on Instagram, Facebook, all of the pages. We want to hear from you guys because I know that there's a lot of you that are watching. We have some super cool people coming on pretty soon.
I would say they're pretty cool.
Yeah. But anyways, that's all I got.
Yeah.
You got anything?
I think you covered it all.
I did.
We covered Instagram.
Yep.
Be sure to
Message us
go
on that.
like those reels. Will's a beast.
Hey, guess what? We're gonna start having a lot more content. Sean doesn't know it yet, but we are. It's gonna be so much fun.
No, I know.
So
It's Y'all just
no, he doesn't know.
Y'all just wait.
He doesn't know.
Jarrett has no idea, Willie.
Yeah. Anyways, love you guys. Talk to you later. Peace. See you later.